AI overview started rolling out.
I know a lot of people are stressed. How do I regain my traffic?
What success looks like has changed.
It's a very, very different type of searching. AI mode. Oof.
There's more to come, people. Brace yourself.
Today we're going to talk about Google's AI mode, AI overview, AI assisted search, everything that has to do with Google search with AI. I am Helene Jelenc, and I am joined with the wonderful Viola, Eva, from Flow Agency. And today we are going to talk about what you need to know, what does all of this mean, and how to adapt your strategy to the ever-changing search landscape. Last year, Google released SGE, the Search Generative Experience, which is a mouthful. And today it is now AI Overview. How would you explain what AI Overview is to the average person?
Appreciate that. I think AI overview is a radical transformation, how we use search, how we find information. And people have said many things about it, but the thing that sticks with me is it's the end of the search results page. So whilst historically we would type a query into Google, we would get a list of results, we would maybe click on the first one, read around a bit, come back, click on the second one. That list now really gets pushed below the fold, and instead we have a chatbot-like experience that gives us a detailed, comprehensive answer. I think it's a mix of search and ChatGPT chatbot experience right now, and it's much more conversational. You can ask longer, more detailed questions, so it's a big transformation from the search result that we've seen so far.
Is it true that because AI Overview launched that people are seeing less clicks to their content?
That seems to be correct from what we've seen. So I think AI Overview started rolling out in May of last year, 2024, and then it progressively started showing up more and more and more. And I feel like now in 2025, it's basically everywhere. No matter what we search for, no matter what question we have, AI Overview is almost always on the top. And they give such a detailed, comprehensive answer. People call it zero-click search. There isn't really a need to go to a website anymore, unfortunately. The answer is so detailed and comprehensive. And so I think a lot of people who've maybe done the sort of HubSpot playbook or content marketing playbook with a lot of top of funnel educational content, they're now suffering from that because people get a good answer in the AI overview. And then, they ask the next question, or they don't come to a website yet. I'm sure you've seen it with our clients too. Maybe you can explain to people what the open mouth crocodile is that we're experimenting.
Yeah. Across pretty much, I think, all clients, every website, as long as you have some sort of organic presence, if you go into your search console and you put last 12 months, last 16 months, you're going to see a nice little crocodile mouth. You're going to see your impressions going up, your clicks going down. I don't think this is anything to super worry about. I know a lot of people are stressed. How do I regain my traffic? That traffic is gone. It's never coming back. AI Overview took it. But as a user, I think it's fantastic. I have to do less searches, it's true. Less browsing around, finding the answer for myself. And so I do think that it's an interesting change, but I can see now that a lot of people are struggling if they were traditionally measuring impressions, clicks, click-through rate, that these metrics have quickly changed. I would like to challenge people to think that the traffic that they are getting is more qualified.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people just clicking to read your what is project management. Now they don't need to go and read it from you. But I think it's still important that you're creating this content from your brand and so that you can appear as a citation inside AI Overview. But I do think that's a challenge on thinking how many resources do you put into creating this type of content if people are not actually going to click on it? What do you think?
What success looks like has changed. I think historically SEO success would mean we have more keywords indexed, we have more keyword rankings. More keyword rankings mean more traffic. And that, that logic is now broken. To your point though is, I don't think we see the same trends with conversions. So even though a lot of websites are losing traffic, actually people are not losing conversions either at all or to the same degree. I'm sure this content did something in the funnel. But yeah, it's actually not an immediate impact on conversions. And so I agree. Now we're trying to figure out what are we measuring? citation in AI overview, mention in AI overview. What is the value of that? What is the value of an impression in AI overview? But I think it's a good thing. It's going to make SEOs a lot more performance oriented or demand gen oriented. I think as SEOs for a long time, we got away with traffic as a success metric, which
Yep.
most other marketing channels don't work like that. If we think about paid media, people are very focused on conversions and leads and all that. And I think that's now also coming to SEO. And I think it's appropriate. But it's a wild time to make a forecast right now. I think
Yes.
it's always been difficult, but now is the hardest time to make a forecast because it's the Wild West. We're learning, we're experimenting, new things are happening. And so just know if you're confused about your forecast and budget, you're not the only one. It's all of that, us. But we are also like learning and figuring things out every day. So with all of that, Helene, what can we actually measure and what can we not measure? And what tools are you using to do this?
Oof. This is a really tricky one. I would say I'm quite vocal about it because I think it's very important that our data is accurate. Unfortunately, in Search Console, Google is not allowing us to understand which impressions or clicks are coming from traditional search versus AI overview or AI mode. So that creates a little bit of a challenge for us. There are other tools out there that we are using and testing. Something like ZipTie is a program where we can simulate searches and then try to understand through an average of how often is your brand appearing as a brand mention or as a citation. And so those are probably two different things that we never really talked about before. Like, are you a citation? Are you a brand mention? That's not SEO talk. So it can feel very awkward, but those things do result in impressions. If you're a citation in the AI overview and someone scrolls through and sees it, you will have an impression. However, if you're using a tool like ZipTie or any of the other tools that measure AI overview, they will call that a citation. And so understanding that those are slightly different between the tools and that, well, Search Console is real data and the other tools like ZipTie, they're more simulated data. So we're trying to recreate reality and understand what's going on.
One thing that I learned from you very recently is how to filter down my Search Console to find all the questions. And so I think that's one of the things that I've been the most excited about is seeing that actually what people are searching for is changing. We can see people getting a lot more precise, a lot more long tail, very question based. And so we'll put the regex into the box below, so you'll have it as well. But that was sort of like one of my big learnings is seeing like how can I filter out Search Console to see it's like what are people asking today, and it's really, really different from what it used to be.
Definitely more long query, like long tail, and more specific, and usually multifaceted. I think this is the biggest shift with AI search, is that you're not searching for one thing. You're not like, oh, a project management tool. No, it's a project management tool that's under this price for a team like this and this industry. Like, you can see that the searches are getting very like multi-step.
I think this is a good point. Personalization. I feel like there's two levels to it, and maybe you can explain this a little bit. One is Google is getting more personalized to you, as is ChatGPT and others as well. But then two, I think people are unlearning their patterns, and to your point, right? They're basically outlining their entire use case and problem in the question now, which they didn't do, and so that's another thing that's very different. There's no such thing as the search result page for that keyword anymore. It's highly specific to the person and to the question or prompt that they're putting in.
Yeah, and I think that's exciting because now when you're thinking about, say, your industry pages, you don't just have to have it very broad. You can get very, very specific in the language and the title of that page and really, really target people who are looking for all of those things at once.
Do you maybe want to explain people the AI mode as well? Because we quickly touched on it, but I think we haven't really explained what it is yet. So there's more to come, people. Brace yourself. It's not over. Not just AI overview. We have AI mode coming your way too.
Yes, AI mode. Oof. I call AI mode the GPT of Google, I guess. It looks very, very similar to using ChatGPT. It's available all over the world, minus EU at the moment, where you can access AI mode from either AI overview if you want to continue the conversation, or there's a tab at the top menu. And essentially this is just using like a ChatGPT style conversational search. It looks like AI overview in that it has citations, it has brand mentions, but the plan is that Google will be rolling this out into search probably by the end of the year, we're anticipating. So it's a very, very different type of searching And I think probably the main component of that is the query fan out mode. So the way that it can do a query fan out through AI overview or AI mode is why it's able to get those multifaceted queries. It's able to take your question, your query, your prompt, and reformulate it. 14 to like 26 times, depending. AI overview does 14 times, whereas AI mode usually does about 25 times. So it's doing 25 different queries, anticipating your next search before you've even done it. Google has been in charge of all of our searches for so long. It knows exactly what we're going to do, even before we know. And so I think AI mode is one way to capture that and to help us search less. Like, it's anticipating our next move and giving us everything. And it's definitely a drastically different type of search. Yeah. Blue links are not there. There's no ads at the moment, right?
Very little. When it started rolling out, there was no ads. Now there's like two ways to get into the ads. One is the PMax and one is the AI Max. But you can't directly say yet, like, I only want to be in AI mode or something like that. It's just part of the bigger algorithmic bidding. And so we'll see how that plays out too. If Google is going to pull in ads, how many of them? I mean, likely they'll have to, right? They're making all their money off ads on the search results page. Yeah. If they don't have a search results page anymore, where do the ads go? Yeah. So I think this is going to be an interesting one as well. I wanted to call out one sort of like caveat. I think, if you can't tell yet, I think Helene and I are largely excited. I think we're not so much in the doom and gloom. I think it's an opportunity to reinvent yourself and learn. But just for the sake of completion, I did want to call out that topic. It's like, I think it will require a lot more sort of like media literacy, also of us as a user. Somehow the best examples of hallucination always come from my family. So I have two for you. One, my mom Googled the opening times of a cinema, went to the cinema, and then the movie was not on, because AI overview had hallucinated a showtime when the movie was not on. So I have that. And the second one is my sister, who's a pharmacist. They need to file a lot of items to the insurance, and the AI overview made up the ID of an item that's actually not claimable. But it did it perfect, like the ID, it like was the right structure and everything, like it's supposed to be. It just hallucinated an ending that doesn't exist. And so I just wanted to call that out, I think, for the sake of completion, is I think as an internet user and society, we will sort of like need to learn that, yes, these answers, they're fast, they're sexy, but we need to sort of like think about like, how can we verify some of this stuff? So just wanted I think in our overall excitement, sort of like give that caveat as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I'm curious, so now we're a B2B marketer, we're a SaaS marketer, we're facing, right, our clicks going down, our impressions are up, a huge amount of uncertainty. We're going into Q4, pretty soon people are going to do annual budgets. What do we do? What are our top 3 recommendations for B2B or SaaS marketers these days?
I think maybe one for me, which is probably the most overlooked, is the brand consistency, especially with AI. And if you want your brand to be mentioned, you need to have a consistent presence, a consistent boilerplate, the way you talk about your brand, whether it's on G2, Capterra, LinkedIn, your website, everything needs to be the same. You need to connect those dots. And if that's not connected, AI will struggle to place you into the whole like universe of knowledge. And so I think that is your first step, definitely.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think that makes a lot of sense, and that's what we've been working on with a lot of clients, right? People also come up, maybe they come up, but they're not being talked about in the right way. So I think that's a big one, and very practical. It's something that you can do today and feel good about. The other thing I think would be thinking about getting very proactive in your communication. It's always very unfortunate once traffic is down, saying to leadership and the board and executives like, oh yeah, it's, the AI overview, it's probably going to make you look quite bad. Like you're going to look defensive if you're saying it once traffic is down. And so getting more proactive and earlier in the communication, I think, is a big part of this. And openly articulating, like, it is changing dramatically. And also, I feel like being honest is like, yes, we don't have all the answers right now, but nor does anyone else. but we're working on it, we're thinking on it, we're being proactive about it, we're learning constantly. And so I think that can put you in a pretty good position where people feel like, it's being taken care of as much as it is uncertain.
I think I have one more. Yeah. I'm going to use my phrase click-through content.
Yes.
A lot of people like to talk about zero-click search, zero-click content. This is the top of the funnel, like we talked about before. I think that thinking about what does someone need to click through? What do they need to go through and see it? Like, what you have to offer something. Would you read it? Would you like this article? Would you share it with someone? And offering something practical, I think in software, this gets quite easy. We can do some templates, some calculators, some checklists. These are very easy wins that you can make them, verify them from your industry, and they can be very high value pieces for potential customers. And they have to click through to see this content.
I love it. So yeah, to summarize, what are our three main takeaways is one, brand alignment is more important than ever, and doing a cleanup of your website, your social profiles, your review sites, connecting the dots like Helene said. Two is starting to get really proactive in your communication and outlining the change and owning the experimentation in that change process. And then three, thinking more about what is a reason for people to come to your website. Click through content, I think also UX, conversion rate optimization, page engagement, these sort of things. And overall, if you can, let's have some fun with it.
Yeah. And if you feel very lost, give us a call and we'll be there to help.